So I got a water and a coffee when I was at SEMA in Las Vegas. The coffee, $7. A little bit high, a little bit rich for my taste, but the water was $9. And I just sat there and I cried at the idea that 10 years ago, I could get a 6-pack and a pound from Taco John's for $12.99, including the drink. You might be saying, Alex, don't be so dramatic. I will stop being dramatic when the government doesn't use my connecting flight as a negotiation chip to get along. Seriously, buying car parts can be tricky right now, which is why I sit down right here to talk to you about budget performance mods you can buy from your homies at martiniworks.com, because I want to tell you that I'm proud of you for making it through 2025, and 2026 should be better. So as we get started, let me know one trick or tip you use to save money on performance parts in the comments so we can help each other out a bit, because I also need a bit of help. Otherwise, I'm going to cry behind those fake pieces of grass. But to start this exercise, let's say it together. Budget does not always mean cheap, but cheap will always mean being a pain in the ass to install. For me, budget performance mods, they do the following. They give us more ponies. They let us keep the Franklins. I think that's a $100 bill, right? And they don't leave us in the garage going, you know, I hate this car, which I say all the time. I'm looking at the one. The S2000 is still broke. The best place to start out will always be tires. Now, you know, we're a bit of a Conti family, but there's no doubt that they're a bit more expensive, and so are Michelin's. But there are budget versions of tires across all of it, which we did a whole video on if you want to learn a little bit more. Like a General G-Max RS is 46% cheaper than a 4S right now. A Hankook Ventus V2 is 20% cheaper than a General G-Max RS. So there's options here. We don't want you to go to the bottom of a barrel though, because honestly, there is a difference between a Costco hot dog at $1.79 and a 50-cent hot dog outside of a Dollar General. Do not trust throwing out meat behind Dollar General, no matter how good it looks. Now, we can also get an added discount on Martini Works when you package tires and wheels and have the mounted set shipped right to your door, which saves you money, and all you need to do is throw them on your car. Next up, these mods go together for the most part. A tune and just how much you want to cut up your exhaust. Now, tunes are the Zaza for anything turbo related these days, and everything is coming turboed in 2025. And it's hard to call it budget, but it is tough to beat the dollar per horsepower per smile from a tune with a turbo. APR still does fantastic stuff, and I trust the brand enough to play with my car's brain without worrying that it's gonna send the boost levels into like Mars. Now, when you get yourself a tune and you got good tires, you're pretty much already at what I would call a certified sleeper. You know, it's a pretty good place to be. Now, if you were to take a peek skis underneath said sleeper car, even with the stock wheels and stock suspension, we know that we're just going for like the best performance budget mods, which means that like little wet blanket of a catalytic converter or downpipe pretty much needs to go. This is where I would tell you that depending on your EPA state and federal regulations, you're going to want to do whatever is legally obligated of you to have a vehicle that is in good driving condition for public street use, which includes having all appropriate exhaust modifications to be done within the confines of your legal representation of your state. However, if you do not give a flying we highly recommend just completely cutting that son of a bitch out because it's gonna sound sick for off-road use only. With a turboed car, 304 stainless steel piping of any kind is really what you're aiming for here in terms of dollar per value. And then after that, it's pretty much budget. Get whatever you can and just kind of pray it fits. If it doesn't, remember that donut gaskets, welding, and normal gaskets will help you find a way to make it fit. A lot of times you're gonna need new hardware as well. It's kind of a fun little game of just like forcing the puzzle pieces to fit, which usually happens with exhausts. If it doesn't fit, then you need to do what my dad always told me. Put your head between your knees and kiss your butt goodbye. Really, you can make it work. You just might have to go to a shop and pay a little bit more to get it all figured out. If you have a non-turbo, doing a test pipe is a great way to go if you can. And then after, if you've got the juice, get a catback exhaust. Now we're looking okay. We're feeling good. We've got our grippers on. We've got some Zaza. The tune is speaking Latin, which means the only other performance part that you should actually invest in, especially if you're on a budget, is not a big brake kit. And it's definitely not the brake covers. We gotta stop doing that. It's not okay. We need to stop being okay with it. Just stick with your normal brakes, okay? But I would say brake pads. It's a huge difference. So many of us forget that the stuff we don't see on a car build are sometimes the best things to do to said car build. Tires look inherently boring. A tune is literally pixie dust. You have bushings that nobody will ever see, and brake pads work great too because you need them to stop your car, even if nobody's gonna congratulate you on your aftermarket brake pads. We want ones that work really well. We recommend Blue Stuff from EBC, or pretty much any Hawk pad is gonna give you everything you need to have proper good fun with your car. There's a ton of different scientific terms and things that they say with brake pads to try and make you buy their brake pads versus somebody else's, but really the big thing that I wanna share share with you about brake pads in 20 seconds or less is you want something that's got a good bite and you want something that's gonna last you a long time, especially if you have a street car. That high initial bite is gonna make you feel like you have a lot of control with your car, and the longevity is making sure you don't have to replace it all the time. Do not go with a full-on race pad on the street. You're going to hate your life. Plus, the sound of the squeaking is really cool for the first 10 seconds, and then it is terrible for the rest of the ownership of the car. You could argue that budget mods extend into sway bars too. After all, most cost you less than like $400, and in the world of suspension parts, that's good. The only thing I'd add on to that is to not let the price of sway bars be the same as the price of coilovers. Those are a bit more involved and have a more tedious process to them. If you're on the fence of keeping a budget with suspension, my honest recommendation is just stick with some upgraded Koni shocks from Martini Works, and you feel just right. It'll be about $400, and it's gonna tighten up everything you could possibly need. Modifying your car on a budget is something that not a lot of people want to do or even really brag about, but it's better to build your car and not feel stressed about money than get invisible affirmation on social media and be a broke-ass boy. The best performance parts aren't the most expensive. They come from the brands that have been established for some time. Koni, H&R, InGen, EBC, General, Falcon, Toyo, Koenig, Enkei, and all of those brands, they're all properly good brands that don't break the bank. So if you have a tip for your fellow little silly idiots that love modifying cars, let us know below. And if you're looking for car parts, mod your car with your homies over at martiniworks.com. I'm Alex, and we'll see you tomorrow.